Guys, the competitors' autopilots are failing. And meanwhile, NIO just released an excellent video showing everybody the capabilities of NIO's lidar in a pitch black zoo. So they took a NIO, drove it through a zoo, pitch black, no lights, just basically the low beam on the car itself, and then it was able to see. NIO wanted to show you guys what the car can see. So let's roll that clip, showing you that NIO's lidar is capable of seeing up to 500 meters away, and then combine that with 8 megapixel cameras on all NIO vehicles. Into 2.0 vehicles, it's able to see extremely far, all right, and it's able to detect lots and lots of things. This, of course, is one of the many selling factors for a customer to buy a NIO. They have the strong hardware that allows it to do some remarkable things. Now, what's also very interesting is the competitors, all right? The competitors, for example, here in this clip that I'm about to show you, we have a Denza. Denza is BYD's premium brand, all right? 10% owned by Mercedes, 90% owned by BYD, and this was just a customer doing a test drive, and then the sales rep telling him to just trust the system, go hands-free with the autopilot. Autopilot on, hands-free, don't have to do anything. And, well, watch for yourself.
你不要撞到这个白车。哦，不会，你别动。我不动啊。还不动啊？撞上了。上车。
So clearly the sales rep was very confident in the car, detecting the traffic jam up front. But he thought that the car would apply braking. Clearly it did not brake in time, and you got that rear end. This is obviously terrible promotion for Denza. Denza sales haven't been doing too well. Their D9 is actually their primary seller, the MPV. And with this is like a huge gut punch to D9 sales. What's also very interesting is that NIO is one of the only new energy vehicle companies that got approved for L3 testing. Okay, so in the future there's going to be L3 capable cars. You got a few companies that are allowed to do testing. NIO is one of them. XPeng did not get that permission. Li Auto did not get that permission. Interestingly, BYD, Geely, these other big auto manufacturers got the permission, but knowing that Denza, the video that you just saw, this huge massive fail, all right, Denza was not even able to stop and just rear-ended. These guys got approved for L3 testing, so clearly they're still many years behind NIO in terms of autonomous driving. Those guys are basically selling just because they're hybrids, all right? They're hybrids. They can still use gasoline, and some of their cars are relatively cheap, okay? Now, there's one massive rumor that I've heard from the NIO owner of 23 NIOs, and it was apparently that NT 3.0 cars will be L3 capable, all right? NT 2.0 cars are pretty much essentially L3 capable in itself with that lidar and sensing units and everything, and it's supposed to do NAD, all right, NIO autonomous driving, which is L3, okay? But of course the laws and regulations haven't allowed that to happen yet, so it's still just like L2++, which is almost L3, but the driver still assumes all responsibility for driving the vehicle. But it's capable of that, and once that gets approved, very soon, even NT 2.0 cars can do L3. I've heard that crazy rumor that apparently for NT 3.0 cars, the ET9, there might be a version where the steering wheel folds away. How crazy is that, right? The steering wheel folds away, and you just gotta drive like a steering wheel free driving experience. Like, how crazy is that? But this is, of course, a rumor. We're not too sure how true that is. Of course, with the Inky 3.0 cars, you're adding 2 extra lidars on top of the lidar on top. There's actually going to be 2 side lidars as well. That's really going to help it be able to see everything. Now guys, something you must understand is that NIO uses 1550 nanometer wavelength lidar, whereas most other people, they used 800 nanometer wavelength lidar. So it just means that NIO's lidar has stronger penetrating power. It's able to see much further, and it's not within the wavelength of the visible spectrum, if you get what I mean. So it's not like, apparently 800 nanometer wavelength lidar might be damaging to your eyes or something. So we don't know for sure. All right, there's some people are saying that, but clearly the higher wavelength, the more powerful lidar is able to see much further. And what you're seeing is that for a lot of the competitors that actually do have lidar, the 800 nanometer wavelength lidar, they're using it more as a secondary redundancy. All right, visuals first and then lidar. Like, they still depend pretty much on the cameras to see things, and then they use the lidar. And very interestingly, like for example, the Li Auto situation where they had that highway, they were driving, and then the camera saw one of those cars, a poster, and it stopped. All right, you know, Li Auto is one of those examples where they primarily use cameras, and then they use lidar for detecting movement. All right, so if it's stationary, the lidars don't really, don't really see it. All right, so this is kind of interesting, and it's a differentiation between the other brands, and I think this is very misunderstood, and I guess NIO should really push it forward more. That NIO, you see NIO uses the best of the best in terms of tech, but not many people know that. Okay, they think lidar, they both have lidar, and this car is cheaper. Why not we just get this car? It also has lidar. The lidar is different. Okay, just like how the megapixels on the camera are different. A 1 megapixel camera versus a 12 megapixel camera, it's two totally different things. All right. Now, one thing that I gotta say that I don't really like is the fact that you have to pay monthly to use the NOP Plus, or in the future NAD, because well, you already paid for the hardware. All right, you paid for the lidar, but you can't. Well, you get 1 year of free usage of NOP Plus, but then after that, you got to pay monthly. And I've talked to some NIO owners, and they said most of the time, they just drive by themselves, and they probably would not pay for it. All right, so this is quite interesting. I mean, like, I really wish that it would just be like one fee, one-time payment, instead of having to pay monthly. I mean, with monthly, you do get that freedom, that flexibility. When you need it, you pay for it. But what ends up happening is, people buy the car of that hardware, but they don't use it. It's a waste of hardware. So that's quite unfortunate. But I see where NIO's coming from. You got to get some cash flow coming in. But at the same time, most people are getting that for free for 1 year. And then after that, some people will pay for it, some people will not. Okay? So just keep that in mind. But NIO definitely has some of the best hardware going forward. They just really got to get their software up there as well. Right? And people have always been complaining NIO software just isn't there. All right. As always, stay safe, stay healthy. Peace out.